All right, cool. Got this thing recording. So we're going to kick this thing off with recognition as always. So we're going to start with personal volume points. So for those of you that don't know, personal volume points are the points you earn from your personal orders and from the customers that order from you. Every order creates volume. So like Shakeology creates like 90 volume points, for an example. So the top 20 volume points from this week were Trip Knowles with 297. And then in the 300 club with over 300 volume points was Amy Morgan, Leslie Clements, Joe Policino, Kirsten Barnett, Allison Medellino, Kayla Emery, Beth Baker, Jill Wagner, Lauren Dunn, Jennifer Conroy, Barb Frevert, Michelle Phillips. And in the 400 club was Janine Hamblin, myself, Whitney DeGrania, Harry Bachlet, Andrea Wallace, Elena Diglio, and at the very top with 540 volume points, Kelly Marks, who I forgot to check for her if she's going to be diamond tomorrow. If you're on this call, Kelly, I will check right after this call. So, Success Club points. Actually, hold on. Let me do the coaches that signed, that enrolled more than one coach last week. So it was Rhonda Malott with 2, Carrie Steelman Schmidt, who seems to always be on this list every week, with 2, Jason Gibson, fairly new coach with 2, representing for the Team Boom men, Chelsea Hugh with 2, Barb Frevert with 2, and Elena Diglio at the top of the list with 3 new coaches last week. That's impressive. Okay, last recognition. The top 20 Success Club earners so far this month. We got the rest of tonight and tomorrow still to go. So with 10 Success Club points, we had Katie Sampaio, Jillian Hilferding, who is a brand new coach, signed up like a week ago, that's pretty impressive. She has 10 Success Club points already. She was a coach, I think a year ago, and she had a lot of stuff going on outside of coaching, and she was on another team and just didn't really jive with them, and so she decided to quit, and she's kind of started following Team Boom and myself for like a year, and was following a bunch of other top coaches and other teams, and decided to go with Team Boom over all the other Beachbody teams because she thought we had the best team atmosphere, like a really good family culture. So that was really cool. Also with 10 points is Chelsea Hugh, Nancy Nathan, who I believe is Carolyn Nathan, Julie Collins with 10, Carrie Steelman Schmidt with 10, Tammy Haiti with 10, Nikki Sidowitz with 11, Tanya Boycourt with 11, Michelle Phillips with 11, Andrea Wallace with 11, Kristen Coyne with 12, Marie Sardelli with 12, Emily Bachlet with 12, myself with 13, Jason Gibson with 14, Shauna Valenta with 14, Bridget Moore with 15, Amy Reelman with 16, Carolyn Nathan, again, herself with 23, and Amy Morgan with 24 Success Club points. So that's the top 20 Success Club point earners so far this month. Good stuff. All right. So this is a call that I've been looking forward to for over a month now. I think sometimes, I know that I did, when I first signed up as a coach, I was really kind of in awe of a lot of these like successful coaches, to the point where I put them on a pedestal. And when I put them on a pedestal, that made them different than me. That made them somebody that could accomplish things that I couldn't accomplish because they had some different skills that I didn't have or knew people that I didn't know. And the more I got to know these people when I went to events, the more I got to talk to them and meet them in real life, I started to take them off the pedestal and started to realize that we were on level playing field, on the same ground. So I wanted to do that same thing with Team Boom. I wanted you guys that aren't the diamond coaches, that are kind of new, that have struggled a little bit, that see all the diamond coaches and above on Team Boom, that are all the recognition that's going on, all the success they're having. And it starts to create this gap. And we want to bridge that gap. We want to let you guys know that we struggle just as much as you guys, and honestly, probably struggle more, and probably have failed a lot more. So what we wanted to do was just share some of our biggest struggles, our biggest failures in the past and currently, and maybe even how we got past some of those hurdles as well. So that might help you get past some of those same things. So I'm going to kick this off with whoever wants to jump in here. How about we start with Andrea Wallace?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea. I'm Pat's younger sister, the one above Amy. So Amy, I'm in the middle of Amy and Pat. My nickname's Annie. So I actually I have a very long story of failure. I actually started as a coach back in I went on my first Success Club trip in 2010, and I just never did anything with the business. Like Pat, I followed Lindsay Matway. I think she was a 2-star diamond, or she's a 3-star diamond, which I am now, when I met her. And I thought she was just something could never get to her point. I followed all these other coaches. And it wasn't until I went to Summit in 2012 when I actually met a couple of coaches. And one of them is Lindsay Catalino, which is now, I think she's a 10-star. But at the time, she had no coaches. She was just a diamond. And I started to meet other people, and I was like, you know what, I could do this. I think I am normal like these people. They didn't really have anything, different. They were telling us all about their failures. And that's when I really decided to sort of plug in, was at Summit. I went home and I realized that I messaged a couple top coaches, totally out of my comfort zone. A couple of them was Melanie Mitro. And one of my biggest failures and fear was posting on social media. I was terrified to share anything about on my wall. But I messaged a couple people and they said, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to start reading personal development and reading The Slight Edge. And I thought that was a joke. But I took some of the things they said about getting outside my comfort zone. And I remember posting my first photo, and I was petrified. I started sweating. And I did it, and I got outside my comfort zone. My first failure was probably, I didn't realize that people would say negative things to me. So I took that really personal. But on the flip side, I had so many people that were really, really positive towards it. So that was probably my biggest failure, was stopping and starting it so many times. And just when I decided to go consistent is when it really changed. So on a daily basis, I probably fail 100 times. I'm a really, really bad speller. It's probably my biggest failure. So I always tell my coaches, I'm like, if I can do this, you can do this. I text my coaches all the time, and they're like, Annie, you need to fix that post. I'm like, I'm busy. My kid's over here screaming. So there's really no secret to it. It's just being consistent and knowing that failure is just part of the game. I hear no on a consistent basis. Sometimes it's really hard for me to make Success Club 10. And I just know that's my goal. And if I don't make it, then I'm on the computer and I'm finding those people that I can help. So when you see these people that make Success Club 10 or Success Club 15, it's because they're inviting their ass off and they're following up, and that's it. So
Annie, I know obviously, my journey as a new coach was terrible. And I know that you struggled too in the beginning. And a lot of it between you and I both was we were afraid of what other people thought. We were afraid of what one or two people that we knew were going to maybe say something to us, or that those one or two people really dictated our actions. Those one or two people really were what determined our success in this business. So when did you get to the point where you weren't going to let one or two negative people dictate your success in this business, and you were just going to say, F it, I'm sick of being run by these two people, that whoever they are, and I'm just going to do this for me? because that's really what's most important?
I think it was when I had a really strong belief in the products. I did the Ultimate Reset and I lost 14 pounds in 21 days. And I remember I like coming out of a cloud. Like I was like, I don't give a F what people think about me. Like these people were asking me what I was doing. I felt amazing. I started to surround myself with other people that were really positive through like our challenge groups and some other coaches that I met. And I realized through reading personal development that some people were saying negative things to me. It was more about them. They saw, you getting happy and you doing these things, and they're trying to like kind of bring you down a little bit. So I just decided, I emailed a bunch, people, and I was like, I'm doing this, I'm going all in. And that was really my tipping point. It was probably, I remember it was like February 2013. And ever since then, I just haven't really stopped. I have met so many people that are like, you have inspired me to keep going. And, that's kind of, but we all have those things that kind of hold us back. And for me, it was just the belief in the products and the vision that I had that I really could be successful. I think I failed so many times that I was like my own worst enemy, that I was like, I'm the only one that's holding me back in doing this. And I knew that I could do it. And I feel like if I waited a couple of years or even like 3 months, I was like going to be mad at myself more than what I cared about what other people thought about me. So now, everyone's so supportive. People know that I do this full time. It's like mind boggling that I'm going to make a 6-figure income and I fail literally every single day. So when you look at these people when you go to these live events and you meet people, they're no different than any of the things. They all have the same obstacles that all of us do.
They have 2 things in common, I think. They're really cool, down-to-earth people that are they're relatable to others. They get along with others. They attract people to them because they're just really cool, down-to-earth people. And the second thing is they're just super consistent. They're not doing anything monumental. There's a few of them that are really skilled in network, like internet marketing perhaps. But for the most part, these top coaches have no experience with network marketing, no experience with internet marketing. They're just really good people that believe in the products and are consistent at connecting with people and inviting them to join them in a 21-day challenge and eventually even in the coaching opportunity. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Annie. How about Caroline?
Okay. I signed up as a coach just over a year ago in January of 2014, and not the coaching came easy right away, but 21 Day Fix came out right when I signed up as a coach. I signed up late January. It came out early February. And so I hit my warm market and I was able to get all these Success Club points, and I was like, oh, this is like easy. This is how like why doesn't everyone do this? And so I got all these Success Club points my first month as a coach. And I think I just expected it to keep going like that. And I like wasn't putting effort in. I wasn't doing personal development. I was like half-assing and butting. And then when that like went away after that first month, and I like didn't know how to run a challenge group, I like threw them in Amy Morgan's challenge groups and didn't do anything with these people. And then I just like hardcore slacked as a coach for the next like 7 months. And I printed out a cancellation form in September of 2014. I was like, this is stupid. I'm over this. And that same day that I printed it out, Pat called me to ask me why I wasn't signed up to go to the Team Boom retreat. And so he kept nagging me about it. So then I finally decided to go, and I was like hardcore, like not doing anything with Beachbody. Like I really just like, maybe I read 30 pages of book every 3 weeks. Literally just no consistent effort. Like I would do like a lot for one day and then nothing again for like a week. Like you can't do that. And I went to the Team Boom retreat, and that's when everything changed, because I met all these coaches that I idolized so much and was like so afraid to talk to. Like literally I was so afraid to talk to every single person at the retreat. And I realized at the retreat when they were doing trainings and people were just talking, you got to know them, that I could be like them if I just actually put effort in. And it was kind of like a aha moment at the retreat. And also what Andrea said about the products. I had done 21 Day Fix, many rounds of it, but at the retreat, I was like getting ready for back surgery that December because I just couldn't deal with it any longer. And I went home from the retreat after hearing Pat talk about PiYo and was like, let me just try this. And PiYo hands down has changed my life. And so I think it was a combination of like, I fully 100% believe in the products now versus like before I wasn't even like kind of trying, and just knowing that if I put consistent effort in, I can do well. But like I fail every single day. Like today I copied and pasted off of the script like what the challenge pack includes, and I sent like the 3-day bikini start guide to a guy who was like, clearly you're just copying and pasting, I don't want anything to do with you. And like that guy was like, peace out. And like, what am I supposed to say? Like, yeah, it was copying and pasting, but like I get so many no's a day, like an absurd amount of no's a day. I get frustrated by things. Like Amy Reelman and Kate DeBarros know that because I text them all day about it. Like it's just, you have to keep plugging along and do things consistently. I have a lot of coaches who are like, oh, I'll make this up on Saturday. And I'm like, if you just do all of it in one day, it's just not going to get you results. And I'm proof of that because I did that for 8 months. But just know that we all fail every single day. I make stupid mistakes like that 3-day bikini thing all the time. And I struggle with how to get my time in because I work a full-time job. But we're all here for you. Pat, anything else?
Okay, so we all have 2 starting points in this business. We have our start date, the day we sign up as a coach, and then we have the day that we decide that we're all in and we're going to be consistent and we're not going to take breaks anymore. And usually it's not like an exact date. There's like kind of a time period where it starts to like morph into like being all in. But with Caroline, it was like a set date. It was like the day after that retreat. So what happened in that weekend that all of a sudden made you go from about to quit in and out of the business to all in? What one thing?
The one thing was that everyone on this call, like you and Bridget Moore and Andrea and Amy and Michelle and all these, and Joe and all these people that I like idolized so much and thought like, wow, they have like magic powers. Like they have a special iPhone. They must have like more skills than me. When I met them and realized we're all making mistakes too. Like they make mistakes too, and hear them talk about like stuff going on with their coaching made me realize like I can do this too. But it just was like the realization, I guess, that you guys are normal people, that you're not special. And I get that too now. Like now that I'm a diamond coach or whatever, I get messages all the time from Team Boom coaches being like, what are you doing that's so different? And I'm like, nothing. I'm literally just doing everything that Pat and Amy tell me to do. The 3 battle behaviors. So I think when I just realized that you guys aren't doing anything special. You're just doing the 3 battle behaviors.
Boom. There you go. Just consistent.
Wait, Pat, can I give a shout out to Michelle Phillips? Because I was so nervous meeting her at the retreat. And I remember sitting there and everyone obviously everyone at the retreat knew each other. And we were sitting there in the Chipotle bar and I was sitting there feeling so awkward. I distinctly remember it. And she came over and she was like, so tell me about yourself, like typical yellow Michelle, tell me about yourself. What tips can I help you with? And was so encouraging and so sweet. And it's just hard to find that in life. And so I just wanted to say thank you in front of all these people because she's awesome.
That was cute. You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. That was perfect. Cool. How about Brittany?
Hey guys, my name is Brittany. I started as a coach in November of 2014. I, like Annie, did the Ultimate Reset, but Annie found me in a mom group and I put her down a couple times. I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. This is a spam. But I ended up doing the Ultimate Reset and I lost 18 pounds on the Ultimate Reset. And that's kind of what sold me on the coaching thing because I had shared my results on Facebook. Not being a coach yet, but I was getting so much feedback of, asking me what I was doing, how I was doing it. And that is when I had asked Annie about the whole coaching thing. And she was like, well, why don't you do this? So I did. And I had great success at the beginning because people were like, well, we want to do this with you. And kind of like Caroline, it was good at first, but then it kind of dwindled away. And Annie is teaching me the steps, you got to invite, this is how you have to do it. And I was so embarrassed to invite people. I was just felt like if I was asking somebody, I felt like I was telling them that they needed to like lose weight or something. So I was like, I don't know if I can do this invite thing. And once I got going with that, I was okay with it, but then I would hear no. And that got me really discouraged. And I was like, I still don't know if I can do this. And I still hear no every single day, but now I'm to the point where like, I don't care because these people are on Facebook and I don't know these people, or they're on Instagram and I've never met these people. And if they're going to say no to me, whatever, just move on. Who cares? You don't know them. What do you have to offer them? They might still be your friend on Facebook and they're watching you. So it might be, 6 months from now, a year from now, that they're going to come to you and they're going to ask you for your advice. Because I have people that, I invited a year ago and now are coming to me and asking me, advice and what program to do and how to help them. So stay consistent with posting. Even if you're hearing no, those people are still continuing to watch you. And one of the things that I found really helped me overcome those no's was personal development. I am not a book reader at all. But once I picked up the Slight Edge, that changed everything for me. And now I just listen to personal development on audio, like when I'm doing my follow-ups and doing things like that, instead of having to pick up a book and actually read it. So if you are not somebody who can sit down and actually read a book, listen to your personal development. That it really does help. Summit was huge for me. Once I went to Summit, that's when I found my why. And ever since then, now my why just keeps building stronger and stronger. But Summit was where like everything happened and came together. You were able to talk to all these other top coaches and see that they were real people and just, come all together as a team. And it was just an amazing opportunity. So I definitely suggest, if you can get to Summit, go to Summit, because that's where it all happened for me. I came home and I was like ready to start this business. I failed plenty of times after going to Summit. I became an Emerald coach and lost that rank, which was really discouraging, but Annie was like right there to be like, don't stop, keep going. So, team up with somebody. I'm on a group text message with some other coaches, and it's so encouraging to, listen to other people and get feedback from other people. So team up with somebody and just stay consistent. Don't give up.
Awesome. I think one thing that a lot of new coaches struggle with, I know I struggled with it, was hearing no.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you struggled with that at first, and then got to the point where you got the mindset of every person I talk to now, every no I hear puts me one person closer to that next yes. And if I don't ask them because I'm afraid to ask them, then it's an automatic no.
Right. Or somebody else will ask them.
Right. Was there like a point where you all of a sudden went from like being afraid to hear no to not?
Yeah. Well, after I read The Slight Edge.
Boom.
Yeah, that's what did it.
Awesome. That's my favorite book still to this day.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my mom wanted to go next, right?
Yes, I'll be quick, but mine has to do. Hi, everyone. Beth Rillman, Pat's mom.
How are you?
I actually signed up as a coach in 2008. Well, forced by Patrick, I guess. No, he just said do this, and I did it. But my real start date was probably 2010, and I was like all in. Got the results with P90X. Pat took us to Tony Horton. I went to the leadership in 2010. I won a Success Club trip in 2011, took our whole family except for Pat because he was a CPA and he couldn't get off. And I actually was at Summit. Joe Palacino took a picture of me with my name next to Lindsay Matway's. We were 2-star diamonds together. I mean, what happened? So what happened is I took what? Yeah, I don't have it.
That was 2010. It was 2010?
11.
2011?
Yeah. So I couldn't go to Summit because we had a family wedding, but Joe took a picture and sent it to me, and I was like, wow. But what happened to me is I took my foot off the pedal a couple of times in the last 5 years. I was going strong. I had passion. I was excited. I woke up excited every day. And then I kind of lost my mojo. A couple things set me back, and I just kind of wasn't quite the same, so I just kind of went along, but not at the same speed. And then, I still was plugging along, Pat. We were all, still working it, but we didn't really have our system, so I was doing a lot of training to coaches, and we were, we just didn't, we're like an oiled machine now when we didn't have that. We did a lot of struggling, tried different
we did a lot of failing and figured out.
A lot of failing, but we're still going along. I'm still making $300-$400 a week, whatever. But I was for every 2 coaches I would sign, one would, the cancellations kept coming, right, Pat? We'd sign a coach and one would quit.
We didn't know what to tell them. We were like, hey, you're a coach. Get out there and be a coach.
Yeah. I mean,
you should have seen Mom and I. You should have seen Mom and I make Coach Basics.
Oh, yeah. That was a little, so it was kind of a revolving door, So then the next time, this was a huge failure in 2012. My husband and I got involved in another company. It was called Zeke Rewards, and it was the easy way to make a lot of money. And he put in $1,000 and I put in $10,000, because I was going to be a millionaire next year. And so Beachbody took a little bit of a back, took my.
Can I interrupt for a second? In 2012, I went to Summit in the summer of 2012, and all 5 of them came with me. They didn't go to one thing. They sat at the pool talking about Zeke. Meanwhile, I was trying to go to all the events and the workouts and stuff, and I couldn't get them to come. They were like, done. I was it wasn't fun. It was just me going without my family, and it just wasn't anywhere near as cool.
But I did sign you up for Zeke that day.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he was more interested in getting me to sign up for this other company.
So anyway, he was mad at me all summer. I remember because I went to Boston and he's like, "You're not doing your invites. You're not, mad." He was mad. I mean, my business was going nowhere, which meant his business was going nowhere on one side. Nothing was happening. So what happened is, what it was a pyramid scheme. September 1st, the federal government came in and shut it down. And then it was back, so just don't make that mistake. That was a huge mistake. It takes time in our business to make money. There's no get rich quick scheme. And if you put in the work, it's going to happen. And, I got distracted, and it was a hard lesson, nothing happened. I almost, went all the way back to the beginning.
You could have been Lindsay Matway.
Yeah, I could have been Lindsay Matway. Well, maybe. So anyway, so then Pat, he about had it with me by then. So in the end of September, he said he was going to leadership. I made it every year, but I didn't make it that year. And he said he was going to leadership. And I said, I want to go with you. So the 2 of us flew out to California and went to leadership. And then that's where that was it. He said, I'm doing this. And I'm like, I'm with you. And we never took our foot off the pedal since then.
And then we started Team Boom in, I think like January 2013 was like when we started our own Team Boom coach group, I think was when it started, or maybe like November 2012.
Yeah. You started it before, but nobody was in it. It was like you and Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. So like the daily consistency post that I post in the coach group every day that says like, how many people did you invite? How many people did you follow up with? For the first 2 months of me posting that every day, it was me and Robert Rodriguez were the only ones that would comment on that.
Yeah.
Those 2 coaches working the business on Team Boom the last like 2 months of 2012.
Well, we were in there, but no.
I was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got back in.
I went back and looked.
After leadership.
It was ugly.
That was the first month I made Success Club, but then I think I got 2 returns and then got discouraged.
Yeah. Well, we all really started, again, strong at the end of in October 2012.
Awesome.
Yeah, all of us.
All right. Who said they wanted to go next?
Lots of failures.
I can go.
Sarah said she wants to go.
Okay. Sorry, Amy. All right. So I'm a little emotional because failure is an emotional process, really. You go through a lot of ups and downs while you're failing. But I don't know if I really felt like a failure. I think that for a long time I was focusing on feeling like I succeeded in other things. Like I felt like I succeeded in like making lifelong friendships and cheering people on and being like a part of Team Boom. I didn't feel like I was failing at that at all. But what I realized is that I was failing to believe in myself and that I could make something big out of this business. So my biggest failure was just being okay with cheering people on and not making it to a point where I wanted people to cheer me on. So I feel like the things that I was failing out was like I wasn't dreaming big enough and I was failing to stay consistent. That's my number one failure, and just the belief in myself. So I also have had like 25 coaches quit over time. So I was feeling to find the right people. I was focusing on just getting Success Club points and just signing coaches rather than spending my time training people that really wanted to work the business. And I have a start date too. I feel like it was a month ago today was the day that I decided I was going to go all in. A little bit before that, on one of our team calls, you had talked about a why list, and that was a changer for me, but I was still trying, like I was still kind of chugging along. But I just sat down, decided this is it, and went for it and signed like 4 coaches in 4 hours and became Diamond, because I was like, I'm not getting up from this computer until I am relentless with every single person that I know. And that's when I started to believe in myself, not just being a friend to everyone, but in my financial opportunity in the business. So I failed a lot. Consistency is my number one biggest failure. But I had also looked up a quote that I wanted to share with you guys, and it said, failure is an event, not a person. Yesterday ended last night. So I think that's important that none of us look at ourselves as failures, but, you know, we fail at things along the way. And the other thing is you have to feel like you're failing. I didn't feel like I was failing. If you don't feel like you are, you're not. But, you know, you just need to take a deep look at what you're doing in the business and what you want to achieve, and then see if you're feeling at the daily things to get you there.
Boom. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Amy.
That was too good. I don't even want to go now.
Yeah, tough act to
I'm
follow.
not as emotional and fluffy as Sarah is, so mine's not as fun. So for me, I'll share some of my my failures and weaknesses. Unlike Pat and Annie and my mom and dad, I was, I didn't believe in the company at all. Like when they all signed up, I had absolutely no interest in the business whatsoever. I thought it was like a scam and a joke, even up until like 2 months before I decided to fully join in. My mom called me in March and she was like, I'm going to transfer Andrea into your spot if you're, not interested in this. And I was like, cancel me. I don't want anything to do with it. Like she was paying for everything. I wasn't interested at all.
March.
So I kicked myself for that.
Uh-oh. What's going on? Some people are frozen and some aren't.
13. My Irish was like, if you're not.
Amy, I think your internet is really weak. All right, let's move on to Bridget. And we'll let Amy go when she gets back.
Okay, so my biggest failure, I think, is more, I don't know, like time-wise for me. Like it was a very big struggle for me to like find a balance between my family and the business. Like I wanted success, but I didn't have like a good plan in place to have a schedule with like taking care of my family. And I've just recently, like, I know people are talking about their first start date, and mine would be, I started as a coach in October 2012 as like a discount coach, but Pat got me on the phone right away and he started with the free invite process. So I was like, I'll just send a few of these invites. And if you guys did that, like you don't get a big response rate. So, it doesn't take a lot of time. So I didn't really start like trying to be a good coach, I guess, or like really like be a business person until right before Success Club of 2013. And ever since then, I've pretty much put like all I can into it, except for this last fall, which I kind of fell off the radar for a little while. But because, and the reason I fell off was because like my home life was just falling apart. And so I just had to I was like, should I quit Beachbody? Like, I love what I do. I've always believed in the product. I started my own fitness journey, as you guys know, with Insanity. And so I was like, oh, Shantine's my man. Like, this is it for the rest of my life. I've got to, like stay on this, because I didn't want to be that like really depressed person that I was when I was like not healthy. But my relationship with my husband, Lee, and like I felt like I was a bad mom because I would be like on the computer all the time or on my phone. So I feel like this past January, after I went to Danny Johnson, who most of you guys know that I didn't really like her, but I took a lot of good information from her. And one of it was, and I just talked to Joe Policino right before this call, and we were talking about using the scripts. Like she had said, the scripts aren't on trial. They, are proven to work. And she's talking about her own scripts. But then I think we as a team came up with a lot, like Amy and Pat and a few other people really put together some good scripts for our challenge packs. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start using them because they're not on trial. And ever since then, like I've got my time in the morning, which is pretty much 1 hour that I have by myself where Lee will let me like work while Jalen's at school, because he's home 4 days of the week. And then I have Jalen when he's not home. So it was like such a struggle. So, because someone's always pulling at me, I don't have like time, but I took that 1 hour, like 9 to 10 in the morning, and I get my challenge group invites out. I reconnect, like simple things, like 10 reconnections a day. And ever since January, I hit my Success Club 5 in January. I was like, okay, I'm going to do 5 every month, like be consistent with that and like work on coach conversion. But ever since then, I've made over 10 Success Club points a month just by using the challenge like scripts and having that 9 to 10. Like that is like no question. That's my time. Like Jalen knows it's my time. Lee knows it's my time. Like, and it was just that talk with having my family like understand that this is something for me. And then he went to that leadership thing, and now he's doing his power hour in the morning too. So like I think a lot of people struggle with that balance of family and business. So you just have to really discuss it with your spouse. And if you have kids, like Jalen's only 4, but I feel like she's part of my Beachbody family too. So I just pull her in. Everybody pretty much knows that she's going to be here, like running into calls and everything. If I don't have it distracted with a video, since Lee works nights. So I think like my beginning again, and they're back, like shooting for the stars, like not failing anymore with the scheduling crap because I've got it down. So that was my big thing.
Cool. Okay. So, when things like really started to take off for you is when you committed to a power hour every day. You had like a set time that when you woke up, you knew what time you were going to work your business. Just like when people wake up and they know what time they're going to work out, they're probably going to work out. People that wake up and think they're just going to work out when they fit it in, the day is going to get away from you. That's why it's so important to set a power hour, a set time that you can guard to get your hour of the business in. And you did a good job of communicating with your family to let them know why that 1 hour was important to you, and not just to you, but your family and their future too. So that you guys were all on the same page, so that when you did have to go and sit down for that hour, they knew why that was for you guys. And then, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say,
I work less now. Like I have my time in the mornings, and I don't just work 9 to 10, but that's like my time. Like if that's all I have all day, that's what I do. But now that Lee works at the business too, like I get a little bit more time these last couple of weeks while Jalen's at school. But that's like the 9 to 10. And it's just, I don't have to work so much because I'm following the scripts. I mean, it's just so much easier. Like I use the handle objection script, copy paste. Like it's really so much easier. I just feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. So now I'm going with coach conversion script. That's my next like thing to tackle and be comfortable with.
Boom. Awesome. So you had the communication, you have your set power hour. And I think this was something that I also struggled with. I think a lot of people do. I think the word script is like a word that's like a gross word. It has like an icky sound to it for some reason. And so what I like to refer to them as is like a word map. So, or like an invite guide, like invite steps. And like you said, like these guides are proven. They work. If you use them, they work. So when did you get to the point where, did you ever feel like you didn't really want to use a script and then all of a sudden you hit like a point where you decided you wanted to? Was there like something that happened there that made you decide to make that decision to use them?
Pretty much just Danny Johnson saying use the scripts, they're not on trial, even though it wasn't her. You know, I'm not using her scripts. I'm using the script, like just our scripts, and it works. I mean, everybody else was saying they work, but I was like, I don't want to use a script. Doesn't sound like me. And she's like, I don't care if it sounds like you. Danny Johnson said that. And I was like, okay, I got to get over this.
So what I do is I use it as like a guide, kind of like if you get in a car and you have a map, it's going to help you get there. But I don't exactly copy and paste. I use it as like a map that I can follow steps in order and then put it in my own words and tailor it based on the conversation I'm having with that person and the type of relationship I have with them. But having that guide and following those steps is such a game changer. It just, like you said, it takes a weight off your shoulders. You don't have to feel like you're reinventing the wheel. That was a huge, huge game changer for a lot of coaches I know. So awesome. Cool. Thanks, Bridget. How about Michelle? Or actually, Marie said she has to like get off. I don't know if she probably already did though. I think she might.
I'm here. I'm here.
Sorry, Michelle. You get to wait a little bit longer.
Sorry, I'll be quick. For me, I guess coming into this, I already kind of felt like a failure before I even started, even though you know, I graduated from college and I felt like I had done all these things that I was supposed to do. So I just wasn't where I wanted to be in life. So I kind of came in a little bit negative, I guess, from the start. So that was kind of a disadvantage. And it took me about 6 months to sell my first challenge pack. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am Alyssa's sister, Alyssa Sardelli's sister. So I think she was already a diamond when I came in, and I didn't really feel like I had a warm market. I was like, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to do this. I had excuses for everything. And, you know, I just fail. As I was failing and I was trying to do things my way or the way that I thought that I was going to do it, it just wasn't working. So I kind of connected with what Bridget said. You know, I felt like a bad mom. I was always on my computer. I was making like $10 a week at Beachbody. I was like, who would do this to themselves? And, you know, I was like, this is just, you know, I was just really, really negative. And I realized that I needed to just refocus. I needed to retrain, and I needed to figure out what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be. So it was kind of funny that you guys were just talking about the scripts, because those were the things that I was like, oh, I don't need those. I know how to do this, you know, whatever. So I dusted those off. I started reading personal development. I started working on me. And then I just really felt like things really started to take off. So I got rid of a lot of my excuses. Some of them that I had was, you know, I work a full-time job, or sorry, I get emotional because I'm talking about like all this. So I was like, I have a full-time job, I have kids, I have to cook. I would even get mad when people would like give suggestions like, you need to get up or you need to do this, that didn't have kids. So I was just like, blah, blah, blah. So then when I was in the sound bed, and I and Brittany and my sister in Vegas, we always say we were in the shower, but we were in the bathroom. And we would say we were in the shower together. Brittany's laughing. Well, Brittany was in the shower, but she was like peeking her head out. And we all made this pact together that we were never going to quit. We were always going to be together, and we were just going to keep going. And at first I was like, you know, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do this, maybe I can't. But at that moment, I believed it. You know, I was like, you know, I'm gonna get there. So I think that we've talked about this before, that it's a numbers game. So, you know, I don't have 10 points or 12 because I'm lucky. I do like 100 invites a day. And they're like, friend request. And I'm like, hey, you want to join are you interested in my 21-day fix group? And then they're like, oh, tell me about it. And then I'm like, wait, what was step 2? You know, and then I go over there, and then I go back and forth, and, you know, and it worked. So I think at that moment when I made that pact, and I was like, Pat says, there's a point when we sign up and then when we really start. So I think that when I really started was about, I don't know, like when was Summit? Last July. So probably for about a year straight, I was like, I hate being stuck. I hate feeling the way I do. I'm up against a wall and I'm going to fix it. I don't know why I'm crying. I think the shower pact like gets me emotional. So then I was like, I'm going to do this. So, here I am. I'm a 1-star like qualifying, but I should be a 2-star soon. I think it's because I place people wrong. So I'll be like 2-star and then 3 will just happen because everybody's on the other side. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Volume's volume. So,
Can I ask you a question?
So basically I just threw away all the bullshit, read the books, did what Pat said, did what Annie said, and it works. So if you're not, I don't mean this to be harsh, but like, if it's not working out for you, like throw away your bullshit and just friggin' increase your numbers and do what step 2 and 3 says. And I know that sounds mean because if someone told me that, I'd be like, whatever, but it's the truth. Like, just freaking do it and go to the moon, like Beth says. So that's what mine is. Sorry, I'm crying.
I remember like one thing that you really struggled with was patience. You were like trying to like just go through a bunch of numbers instead of looking at them as like people that have like their own goals and struggles, right? So you were just trying to like go through the steps with them really fast instead of like slowing down, taking a deep breath, and looking at them as individuals that have their own goals, their own struggles, and having real conversations with them. And I know that now one of the things you really focus on is quality over quantity. And I know it's a big difference, right?
And I'll still read that part where Pat, like in the invites or whoever made it's like, don't skip this bridge, because I just want to be like, so you want to do it? And then it's like, okay, what are your fitness goals? How many kids do you have? I feel like that too. We're talking. And it's so funny because every time I read it, I think it says something like, don't skip this bridge. Doesn't it say something like that? Yeah. And I just want to be like, Pat wants to be like, Marie, don't do it, and I still, and I'm building those relationships. And at first I was like, I don't have time to like make friends with all these people, it's like never gonna happen. But and then it just kind of snowballs, and then it just happens. So
it makes it more fun.
It is, because you just don't like, it does make it a lot more fun. Hopefully my story helps people instead of like hurts people.
But this is something I think a lot of people struggle with, that come in with this hunger to like really do well, and they don't have the patience because they're coming in like just wanting to make it happen right away. And sometimes it hurts them because they look at people as like numbers versus like real individuals. And instead of slowing down and really getting to build a relationship with them and get to know them, they end up hurting themselves by trying to go through so many people. And it's not as fun, like it's not as fun to just be like flying through messages versus like slowing down and really taking the time to like get to know them and really build that relationship with those people. That's more fun, and it's better for your business too at the same time.
Yeah, definitely is. And that just like, I just made it so much more like real, and then connecting with these people, because then they build relationships with me, and then they have like people that want to, have their friends join, and then, it just really helps. So
yeah,
I like that.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Marie.
You're welcome.
I say cool, awesome after every time someone talks.
Mama,
all right. How about Michelle?
All right. So some of you might have heard my story. I made a video actually a few weeks ago and posted it in mine and Handy's coach group, but kind of similar to Brittany's and how I started. So I signed up with the Ultimate Reset, and I did Ultimate Reset, got amazing results. I was sold. I had already been doing Shakeology and Insanity, so I already loved the products. The Ultimate Reset, I think I lost like 13 pounds in the 21 days, felt awesome, shared my results with all of my friends. People were buying Ultimate Reset challenge packs for me left and right. Anything about an Ultimate Reset challenge pack, make like $100 in commission off one. So I think my second or third paycheck was like almost $500. So I started out really good. Like I started out with a bang. I made Success Club my first 3 months as a coach. This is before they did Success Stars. And I think I made Success Club 10 the first 3 months. And then once it started to get hard, I was like, I don't know about this. This like isn't fun anymore. So like after I feel like I used up all of my friends, like how many of your friends are going to buy more than one challenge pack from you? Not that many. So like my friends bought the Insanity Challenge Pack, Ultimate Reset Challenge Pack. And then I actually had to like invite other people. And I was like, this is, I was like, I don't know about this. So I was doing like my Instagram invites, getting a lot of no's, feeling discouraged. I went to Summit mostly because it was in Vegas. And it was awesome. I didn't take it as seriously as I probably should have. I was only a coach for 3 months. I went to the pool a lot instead of seminars. I did go to some seminars, but I did a lot of the pool and the partying. But Summit was huge. I came back from Summit with a fire, did amazing June, July. And then August came and I hit a wall. I just wasn't doing anything. That was the problem. Like I didn't make Success Club in August, and that was my first month since April that I didn't make Success Club. So I felt really discouraged and it wasn't easy anymore. And once stuff isn't easy for me, I usually quit. Like growing up, like I always did sports, but like as soon as it got hard, I was like, I don't want to do that one anymore. And then I went to a different sport. So I feel like that's something that I always struggled with. What are you laughing about?
That's just typical, like the yellow personality.
I know, it is. Very typical.
For people that don't know that, I think like probably 80% of people have no clue what we're talking about when we're like, oh, yellow personality.
Take the color code personality test and then you'll know.
Yeah.
So like for me, that was one of my biggest struggles is that when it gets hard, I usually just want to like quit because I'm like not into it anymore. As soon as it's not fun for me, I just don't want to do it. So for me, that was the hardest thing. And I would always make excuses, like be like, I looked up to Annie so much, but I would be like, oh, well, Annie has all this time because she doesn't have to work anymore. So she has all, she got 2 kids at home, but she has all the time in the world to be like constantly posting in the group and this and that. And I was just like, I have a full-time job. I have a per diem job. I don't have time. So that was like one of my biggest excuses was the time thing. So then month of August, September, October, November, December, didn't make Success Club once. And it's because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't reading personal development. I was doing invites here and there, but I wasn't following up with people. Like I just wasn't doing what you're supposed to do. So then January came and Shauna hadn't been doing much either, which she'll go next and tell you about that. But Shauna and I, when January came, we were kind of like, okay, like why can't we do this too? So we kind of went all in at that point together. And I really I still have excuses sometimes, but I try not to. So I really make it a priority every single day to do those 3 important things. I sacrifice time. I work on it at work, which I'm not supposed to, but I don't care. I do it in bathroom breaks. I do it on my lunch break. I do it in my, so I'm like constantly working on Beachbody, which I should be doing a power hour. That's one of my struggles too, that I still face is time management and organization, but I'm working on it. But the important thing is I get what I need to get done. I've now made Success Club like 15 months in a row after not making it for 5 months at the end of 2013. So I use the scripts. I love the scripts. My new favorite script is the Challenge Pack to Coach Conversion. So thank you, Amy. That has been awesome with having me sign coaches even just for the discount. And then they sign up for the discount and they're like, well, I want to learn the business too. So if you guys aren't following that, please do. And I think that's all I wanted to share. I don't know if I missed anything, Pat.
No, that was great. Is Shauna still on? I think she said
she was getting tired.
Oh, one other thing, Michelle. Remember, you did mention to us that you were posting your on your wall, and you got some naysayers, which also made you back off.
Oh yeah, the haters.
The sorority sisters, those haters.
Yeah, well, some of my sorority sisters, trying to think. Yeah, some of them are the haters. Some of them are my coaches, but some of them are haters. But yeah, so like some people that I'm friends with on Facebook would like post Team Doom challenge with like 50 pizzas in the background. Like, let's see how much weight we can lose in gain in 21 minutes of eating this pizza. I'm like, really, dude? Like, F you, So that made me mad. And then like some other girl that I'm like friends with, this was a girl's husband. So this other girl that I'm friends with commented like, oh yeah, let me post a video of me doing squat jumps. And that was like 2 days after I posted a video of me doing Insanity with power jumps. So that like made me mad. But now I don't even care anymore. But yeah, I mean, from the beginning, there's been haters, and it used to affect me a lot more than it does now. Now it still kind of makes me mad, but I don't let it, get in the way of my success, which is different from before. Before I was always worried about what everyone was going to say. So I feel like I let it get in the way of me being successful. But now it still might make me mad or annoyed, but I'm just going to laugh at them when I'm making more money than they are as a pharmacist and they hate their job. So
I didn't really have anybody like on social media like say anything negative, but definitely like my friends, when we'd be out like hanging out, they would like make a wisecrack here or there. And then as I started to have more success, I started to notice that they like slowly weren't making any comments anymore. And then they were like very quiet. And then all of a sudden they started like asking questions, and now they're starting to become coaches and want to do it too. It's like a funny process. Are there any other diamonds that didn't get a chance to share?
Shauna's still on. Shauna, go.
You
I
guys,
see you on there.
I like to like end the call like sharp at like 9 o'clock, like 1 hour. So if you guys, I know you guys have a lot going on, so you guys can figure out. But I'm gonna stick around, and whoever else wants to stick around, because there's a few more diamonds that are gonna share. But if you guys got to go, totally get it.
I never got to finish because I think my
Oh
computer.
yeah, that's right. Go for it.
So anyway, when I started, I think the biggest thing for me to actually get me hooked into starting was the Ultimate Reset. I did that, after my mom complaining about gaining weight and feeling bloated and stuff, and my mom got me on that. So she was the one who ignited it over the course of years. And then I'm a money person. So when Pat showed me his paycheck, that was a huge, like, all right, I'm going to do this. And since I am a money person, the biggest thing for me was my first full year. It was very discouraging to put in all this time and effort and feel like my paycheck wasn't reflecting my time commitment towards this business. So I definitely had times where I would call my mom and be like, I don't think this is working. Like, maybe I should get a second job. So my belief was definitely a big setback for me my first year, just not seeing the financial gains that I wanted to for the time I was putting in. And also I was a terrible leader. I knew how to sign up coaches. I've made Success Club every month except for one, but I sucked at training people. I, pushed all of those people onto my mom and had her train pretty much everyone. So I signed people up, but I didn't guide anyone my first year, basically. It was more about me than it was about them, which in this business, as you guys all know, it can't be about yourself. It has to be about the people that you're guiding, your challengers and your coaches. So that was a huge thing for me. And what turned that for me was doing Shooting to Diamond that my mom and my sister created. I actually learned how to run a business by doing Shooting to Diamond, whereas before it was just, I'm going to sign up these people and like they can figure it out. Or like when people weren't selling challenge packs and stuff, I just didn't understand why they weren't, but I really just never, guided them. So my first year was definitely a big belief and figuring out how to be a leader. And I think I figured that out mostly because of Shooting to Diamond. Yeah.
That's great. I know I did that too. Like I would sign up coaches, and that was like the end goal. It was like, it was always to get coaches to join us. And then it was like, all right, well, you're a coach, and we had to figure it out. You can go figure it out too. And then I was more concerned about going on and finding the next coach versus like really taking the time to slow down and really train them and help them gain confidence so that they would be successful. So instead of having a bunch of coaches that we enroll that you don't spend time with and don't train them, and you don't help them gain confidence, you have this one just shallow line of bunch of coaches that aren't really doing much, versus signing less coaches and spending the time training them and helping them gain confidence so that they can become successful. And then you start to build a deep organization, which is actually fun.
And don't let the income, reflect anything your first year. It's going to go up and down and stuff. So I think that was a big thing for me on Thursdays. I'd be like $14. Like, I'm not doing that much today. Like, that wasn't even worth it. But then come like Monday, I'd get back into it. But it was definitely discouraging to be like, I just spent 20 hours and made $14. Like, that sucks. So whereas now, 2 years in, it's like, you're making so much more and you're still putting in about the same amount of time. So you just have to realize that you're not going to get rich quick, and you have to put in the time knowing that you're not going to make that money right away. So.
Yeah. Yep. In the beginning, you do a lot of things that you don't get paid for, but if you stick around long enough and you're consistent long enough, then you start getting paid for things you didn't do. Who else? I think there was.
I can go really quickly, Pat.
Oh, cool.
I'm Terry. I'm Pat's aunt. I actually have a huge failure. I started and signed up with Beth. I think it was 2009 or 10. And I got to Diamond in 3 months. And so we were so excited. Well, Beth was really excited. I didn't really know what I was doing. And we went to leadership. And then from there, I quit. I decided to do something else, a family business with lacrosse, which I love. But I thought, I had all these people. And Pat, what you were saying was I had them come to my house. I had parties. I had a fit club. And I was like, I don't know how to train these people. I don't know what to do. And that's not Beth's fault. In my heart, I was like, I just don't know what to do. And that bothered me. Like, I have all these people, what do I do? And that was one of the reasons why I also didn't understand the potential of the business at the time. And that's probably just because at that time I didn't see, everybody working consistently. I know Pat was and Beth, but I didn't see enough of that. So big failure, never, ever quit. Where would I be? I would be having thousands and thousands of team volume points on my leg. I'd be on a different side, but I would be crazy if I started working the business now. So then my back was killing me. Beth said, do less mills, whatever. I ended up doing that. And I love the products. I believe in it. I love everything about the company. I also saw that the family was having a lot of fun. And I was like, if I'm going to ever see my sister, and I don't want to miss out, I got to get in there. She's fun. And I just want to be in there. And I love the business. Anyway, so I hopped back in about 1.5 years ago. But I had a lot of crazy stuff going on. And I didn't work the business, but I listened and watched. I listened to Andrea's sagas, Amy's sagas, Beth always saying, just do it. Pat, the family, I know everything about this family and how they kept pushing forward and creating. And then last January, 1 year ago, I was down in Delray with Patrick, and they were working on the Coach Basics. And they said, see if you can pass it past the idiot. I was the idiot. I wanted to know, how are you going to train?
I think you called yourself that.
Yeah, you called me an idiot. No, you didn't. But it was,
you started calling yourself
it
an
doesn't
idiot.
come easily for me. It doesn't, the technical stuff, it's like literally eating glass. It's like, I don't get it, So it's like, how am I going to train it? So they would pass it by me and I'd be like, oh, I don't get it. And they'd roll their eyes. No, you guys were great. But anyways, it was very exciting because the girls, Amy and Andrea, Beth and Pat, they all just started getting the teaching. Then I was like, okay, now I think I could be a part of this. I knew the money potential was there, but I was like, they're really starting to, like, even though it's hard for me, but I'm going to be able to find a file and I'm going to be able to learn and be a leader down the road. So I had a lot of stuff going on. I said, Beth, I'm listening. I'm in groups. I was following Amy. Andrea was so helpful, everybody. And then I said, January 2015, I'm all in. This is it. And I said also that to myself, I said, I've got to be a leader, and I couldn't hide in Amy's group. I didn't know how to run a group, so I'm keeping my free group alive. I kept one of my coaches that kind of went into her own business, and she had all these wonderful people. I was like, if I don't get in there, they're just going to go. They don't have a leader. So I kind of hopped in there. I'm getting better at it now. Everybody's getting involved. We all need to help each other. But I was like, I just jumped in. And I was like, at first I had a lot of excuses. I'm too old. it would be so much easier if I was 25. This would just be a piece of cake. I'd take all the people, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was making a lot of excuses. And then I just said, I'm just going to do it. And I'm just so thrilled looking at the screen and seeing, you know, some of our coaches, and I'm seeing more nieces and nephews. And the whole family part is really cool too. It's like a giant family. And the real reason I did get in was because I wanted my family to be in there. So I thought I need to get to Diamond. So I got to Diamond in January because I want my daughter-in-law, my sons, my daughter to do this, because the money is there. You get to help people all day. We're, you know, a family of nurses and people that love to help people. So we get to do that. And the earning potential is, like Beth always says, to the moon. It's ridiculous. And I would never tell any of my kids to do anything like, go be this, go do that. But this, I want to say, do this. This is craziness. This is an amazing business. And I see you there, Steve, and I really am rooting for you. You're going to do this. It's exciting. That's it for Matt Sharon.
Wait a second. Steve?
Steve.
Steve's on here? Where? I don't
He's
see
on
him.
every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, Steve's on.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see him. I'm trying
Steve,
to find him.
talk. Unmute and say something. Steve had an amazing transformation story I posted yesterday. He's completely changed his life. He was on the road to some crazy unhealthy living, and the doctor said, you're not going to make it. And he's all in. Right, Steve?
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm ready to go with this.
That's awesome. Good deal. So I felt the same way, Perry. Like when you said you had like all these coaches that were signing up and you had them all over at your house and you just didn't know what to do with all these coaches. You're like, what do I do with them? What do I train them? I kind of felt like that too. I didn't really know like what to do with my coaches once they became a coach. But I don't think we have that problem anymore. Do you feel like you know what to do with your coaches now that they sign up?
I'm getting better. Better every day. Failing forward.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
All right. You guys can take off whenever you got to go, but there's a few more of us that are going to share here for those that can stick around. I'm going to put Trip on the spot because he's a diamond. Trip, what's your biggest failure?
I wasn't expecting to talk. I'm still going through my biggest failures, I think. I'm still learning as I go. I think probably one of my biggest failures was trying to do everything on my own when I first started. Like I thought I had all these grand ideas to post all these awesome things on my page and post in different Facebook groups. And I wasted a lot of time and had a lot of frustration. And it wasn't until I started, doing the things and using the files tab that's there for us and, learning that stuff that started making things easier. But I'm still struggling. I mean, some of my recent struggles have been, a lot of my customers from the past few months are starting to drop off. And so I realized that I need to work on building those relationships better and, keeping track of those customers and really not just treating them as, 2 Success Club points, but, a person that I committed to changing their life and helping them out. So I'm still learning as I go, but yeah, you definitely got to fail and learn some things the hard way, but everything's there for us. So we just need to plug into it and do the things. And there's a million excuses we can make, but bottom line is most people know in the back of their mind, if they're not getting what they want, it's probably a lack on their part, something that they could be doing more of. So being consistent.
Perfect. Thanks, Trip. Who else we got here? How about Kate DeBarros? You're a diamond coach.
I am. Hi. So my story, I'm Kate, by the way. Hello. I am not technically a boom coach, but I guess you could say we're kind of like cousins. So I started coaching again in March of 2014. I was a discount coach like way back in 2010 or 11. And then I canceled everything when I had a bunch of babies and just stopped drinking Shakeology. Hindsight, I shouldn't have canceled. So if you're ever thinking of canceling, don't, because your volume just like keeps going. But anyway, so I kind of was on a team where I just wasn't feeling a lot of support, and I was just ready. I was ready to go. I like had this fire in me, and I branched off and I formed my own group. I really had one coach, my gold ship, who's on the call tonight. And she had a gold ship of her own. And so the three of us, we kind of branched off and we formed our own Team Caliente, in November of 2014. And that's kind of when the game changed, because the way I feel is that if you want to be a diamond, you have to act like a diamond. So if you have coaches under you and you're clinging on to Boom, listen, a lot of you won't have my story because the Boom fam like is the shit. So you're surrounded by a group of people and you probably never want to leave. But when you do, that's kind of when the magic happens, because you take on this leadership role and you kind of get thrown into it, and you have to be that person. You have to be the diamond. You have to be the leader. So, our team was slowly growing. I didn't really have any scripts. I was looking for things. And so I decided to go to Super Saturday. I'd never been to a live event. So me and Renee and Nicola went to Super Saturday, and lo and behold, that's where we met the wonderful Real Men family doing high kicks and all. And, they just had an energy that we connected with, and we just like clinged on, like we just like sucked on like freaking barnacles on a ship. So, we just learned so much from them. So another thing, if you've never been to a live event, get to one, because as you know from last call, it's just all about those conversations you have. It's not even about the event, really. It's about just like the people you meet. So I met them, and I just have to give a huge shout out to Beth Reelman, because she really knows her stuff. And she just kind of took me under her wing, and I had a few Zoom calls with her. I had already been set up for Diamond, and I was just waiting for an Emerald. It was like taking forever. So Beth got me on a call, and she took me in my back office, and she showed me the sponsorship drill down, or whatever that one is in the back. I didn't even know that existed. I had no idea about volume. I was so confused. So she showed me, and then I got on a Zoom call with my coach, which is one of my like big things. I'm not a good phone talker. I like kind of get a little freaked out. So I got on the call, and I was like, look, but you could be cycling if you're Emerald, and if you just signed up your husband, you'd be getting these extra points, just like Beth showed me. And that day she signed up, and I went Diamond, like literally after like a week after I met them. So if you don't know your back office, get to know it. And if you have questions, go to Beth Reelman, because she is the master, definitely. So that's kind of, for me, that was, the game changer. And now I'm using the scripts. I use all of Boom scripts, and, I've kind of changed them, obviously, to go with our team a little bit. But I use that Challenger to coach all the time. And it's literally like 99% success rate. It's amazing. It works all the time. And I was always having those conversations with people, but I never had anything that I could copy and paste. And it just makes life a little bit easier, because, as a coach, you talk to so many people. It's just easy to copy and paste. And it's not like you're being fake, and it's not like you're being robotic. It just kind of, makes life a little bit easier. So from that group of 3 coaches, we're now like 50 some coaches deep at the moment. And we've got some people, going Diamond soon. And we've got a lot of momentum. So thank you, Team Boom. You guys are awesome.
Wow. From 3 coaches to 50. That's pretty cool. The only thing that'd be cooler is if you were in my downline.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Is Joe Policino there? I see a screen that says Joe, but it's black. I don't know if he can make it or not. Who else we got here? Any other diamonds that haven't had a chance to share? I wrote down a couple bullet points that I was going to share. The first was my first attempt at coaching. So I signed up as a coach like in August 2008, and I got to Emerald because I had my mom sign up, and then I paid for my sister to be a coach. I was paying like $45 a month for her vitamins so that I was an emerald. And then my attempt at coaching was to create this really long message of like why you had to join me in this coaching opportunity and why the products were amazing, why the business was amazing. And I sent out this long message. It was literally like, I see it once in a while now when I'm like looking at my inbox when someone messages me from like one of my old friends, and I'm like, oh my, it's like painful to see that message. But it was the worst message ever. I sent it out to all my Facebook friends at the time. I think was less than 100 people. And I had one person respond and ask me a question about it. And then I responded, and then it was like crickets. And I was like, oh, this network marketing, this Beachbody thing, it's stupid. It doesn't work. Like, I talk to everybody I know. It doesn't work. It's not my thing. And I didn't do anything with the business for a year and a half after that. I was an emerald for a year and a half, and I was getting customers given to me as an emerald, which was nice. So I was making a little bit of money to the point where I wasn't going to quit because I was kind of starting to pay for my supplements a little bit, but literally didn't do anything for a year and a half. And then another mistake I made was I did not go to an event until I had been a coach for a year and a half. When I went to my first live event, a lot of things changed. I met a lot of people that had success before that I had put on that pedestal that I talked about. And I got to sit down with them and talk to them and chat with them. And I realized that they weren't doing anything amazing or monumental. They were just doing the basics consistently for a long period of time. They weren't any more capable than I was. Just like I'm not any more capable than anyone else on this call. I'm probably less capable than the majority of people on this call. The difference is I've just been doing those simple daily behaviors for longer. So that was mistake number 2, waiting way too long to get to a live event. Third thing was getting people off of that pedestal. You're just as capable as anyone else that's spoken on this call and anyone else you see doing well in this company. You just got to be consistent with those simple daily vital behaviors. Last thing, when I hit elite in 2013, I was like, I got this business figured out. I'm elite. Like, I'm the shit. Like, I don't even need to be worrying about selling products and Shakeology anymore. I'm going right for the business. I'm signing coaches. So all of 2014, that was my goal, was just to get people to become coaches on my team. I stopped doing challenge groups. I stopped trying to get customers, and I went right for the business opportunity. And I signed a lot of coaches in 2014 by doing that. But none of them are still doing the business. And the reason was because what I was doing to get them was tell them how successful I was and how I was going to help them become successful. And it worked, but it was not duplicatable. It does not matter what works in this business. All that matters is what duplicates. So at the end of 2014, at the end of last year, I went back to what worked for me, which was building relationships, helping people get results with the products. And then once I had their trust and they had a belief in the products, then and only then I introduced them to the coaching opportunity. And ever since I went back to that, the coaches that I've signed up are having so much more success. So that was the other mistake I made. I got away from the basics, and now I'm back to the basics, and it's making a huge difference. So those are my big failures. Who else? I think that was everybody. Did I get all the diamonds? Hashtag back to the basics. I like, once I find a hashtag, I like just kill it into the ground until it's just like not even fun to hear anymore. Anyone else? No? All right, cool. I hope that you guys got a lot out of this. I'll post the recording. Boom on 3, and then we're out of here. Thanks for staying on an extra 20 minutes, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Boom! Always the best.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Saying good night.